I think about hamburgers and pizza are pretty much like the same category of food, but the way I consume it is completely different. McDonald's, I just go there. You take 5 minutes, you pay $5, and you can have it alone. But pizza is the complete opposite. If I make pizza consumption behavior like McDonald's, couldn't I make more demand?
Korean food, from kimchi to bibimbap, and now more recently, tteokbokki or chicken, has become hugely popular overseas. But now we are excited to introduce everyone to the world of Korean pizza. The K-pizza craze is led by GoPizza, which has more than 200 outlets around the world, 50 in India alone. Our globalist today is the CEO and founder of this global pizza establishment, Lim Jae-won. And we talked to him today about how this unique blend of technology and taste will propel him to become the McDonald's of pizza. So welcome to the Globalists.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
The GoPizza, the outlets, have been hugely successful in Korea and overseas. But explain exactly what the concept of GoPizza is.
So we are a pizza company. We serve customers with faster, more affordable, more personal pizzas compared to the traditional players. And we do this through many different technologies to innovate the pizza operation. And through this model, we have expanded to 7 different countries now with over 200 stores. And we expect around 500 stores by the year end. So we are expanding really quickly.
So when you say fast, clearly cheap, affordable, and personal, what are we talking about? We're talking about how fast are you going to get your pizza, how much are you going to pay, and how does your pizza look like?
Usually when you visit our store, you would get our pizza around 5 to 7 minutes. The fastest, if I cook it, I can cook it probably in 4 minutes. The price point usually starts from like $5 US. In India, we have prices like $2.
Wow.
So it's very affordable. And it's like, it's an oval shape. It's equivalent to a 9-inch pizza. So teenagers it would be a complete personal pizza for teenagers. For my age, maybe it's a bit too much. And for, older generation, it's a sharing pizza.
It is taking over so many places. You see GoPizzas popping up everywhere. In 2016, you started because you saw a need. What did you see and what was your experience at the time?
Well, I first thought of GoPizza in 2015, actually. And that was because of my experience in Singapore, where I used to live alone for my university for 4 years.
You went to Singapore Management University, yes.
So whenever I want pizza, I have to call in, wait for an hour, and always order 1+1, and it was like $30. On the other hand, I like McDonald's a lot too. One day I was thinking, queuing at a McDonald's. I think about hamburgers and pizza are pretty much like the same category of food.
Fast food in a way.
But the way I consume it is completely different. McDonald's, I just go there. You take 5 minutes, you pay $5, and you can have it alone. But pizza is the complete opposite. So if I make pizza consumption behavior like McDonald's, couldn't I make more demand? Basically, I would be having pizza more often, as much as McDonald's maybe.
Yeah.
So that was the initial inception of the idea in 2015. And for a year, I prepared GoPizza.
How? I mean, of course, that idea you got as you were standing in line, but how did you make that happen?
So I prepared for a year. I worked at a pizza franchise as a part-timer, and I basically found out what's wrong with pizza kitchens. And I wanted to change that. So
What was wrong with pizza kitchens?
the reason pizza is slow and expensive, basically inaccessible, is because the way they make pizza is slow and expensive.
Isn't that what makes pizza taste good?
Well, partially, but that's how in the last 6 years, we used many different technologies to overcome that, right? Even though we make pizza faster and in a smaller space, the know-how to maintain that quality and consistent quality across the world was actually, the key to our success.
I hear that's the par dough?
Par-baked dough.
Par-baked dough.
Yeah.
What is that?
So in 2015, when I worked at the pizza franchise, the sole job for me was to knead the dough.
Okay.
Basically, you get a chunk of ball of dough and then you knead it. But to knead it, you have to proof it first. And to proof it, you have to, put it in a proofer the day before.
To let it rise.
Yeah, exactly. So just to get that dough on the table, you need like 24 hours and you need a lot of equipment and you need a lot of human labor and calculation to get there, right? And that kneading process itself is like human skill. So I'm not that good with my hands. And I would get like these holes and it was uneven dough. So I thought, can't this be like pre-made? And that's the initial idea of par-baked dough. So par-baked dough means it's partially baked. So it's mixed, it's proofed, and it's kneaded, and it's partially baked and frozen and supplied to the store. So basically, in GoPizza store, you just open it and you start using it, like toast bread.
Yeah. Again, though, doesn't it lose something in the taste if you do it? I mean, it's frozen, isn't it? I mean, isn't that what the concept of something taking it out from a freezer loses its original taste?
So we did. It's a very accurate point. We did lose taste in the initial stage where we didn't complete that technology. But over the 6 years, I think we have invested the most money and time and my personal effort to perfect that par-baked dough technology. And we have a huge factory in Eumseong in Korea, also in India and Indonesia. So we have perfected that technology where it tastes as good, if not better, than a fresh dough. And the key to par-baked dough is that it's consistent, right? Every time, everywhere, it's always in the same form. But if you think about like a normal fresh dough at a fine dining restaurant, it's always maintained good. It's fresh, it's good. But if you take a franchise, for example, the dough is a living organism. And the quality will fluctuate according to the temperature, the time, everything. So if you kind of cancel out our consistency, I would say it cancels out that fluctuation.
But a part of the fact that you are a food tech company involves that not only have you mastered the technology of this dough, but the process itself, the oven, we have AI-infused technology. How is all of that combined?
It starts from where we started, 2016, with one food truck. So we had a very primitive version of our par-baked dough. And because we had to bake this dough faster than a normal pizza oven, we used gas-fired ovens, like the ones you see in a restaurant, right? But we used this very small version. And these two combined, I was able to make like pizza pies within 3 to 4 minutes. So we had 3 ovens in one truck. I had 12 staffs working in that truck. And we were selling 600, 700 pizzas per night. So we saw the opportunity. We saw that, by not maybe innovating, but by tweaking that operation, we can create this new concept of pizza. So in 2017, I started doing pop-ups at departmental stores. And that's when we got our first angel investment. And when we opened our first store in Daechidong, it's still one of the best performing ones. so many kids there. And because of the success of that store, we started franchising very rapidly in 2018. And when we had like 30, 40 stores, I realized it's not all about scalability. It's all about scalable consistency. Because if you scale at a fast speed, the consistency breaks. And that's
if it doesn't taste as well, then
exactly.
you're lost.
So that's when we started developing the AI technology. And in 2021, the COVID came, and our main markets were Korea and Singapore, and we had crazy labor crisis. We need to replace or help humans because we literally cannot source humans anymore. So that's when we developed the robotics technology.
What does the AI in robotics do?
So what the AI does is that it's basically a camera that oversees the topping table. And it would compare the recipe to what's being made, every layer by layer. I'm very lucky because pizza is a food where you put things layer by layer, right?
Yes.
So the last frame of each layer determines the accuracy of that layer. So we would film every single layer and we will compare that to our recipe layer. And then each layer will have a score. So all those layers combined will have a total score of the pizza, right? So what we want to do eventually is that, sitting in my office in Korea, I could see India, Bangalore, Falcon City store, crew, whatever, Peter named crew is making combination pizza 86% correctly. And by knowing that, we are able to achieve that consistency because we would target the ones that are not performing well.
So you can find trouble spots and say, you're not doing this right, and you can correct it.
Exactly. So the traditional way of maintaining consistency in franchise industry, where consistency is basically the essence of this business, is by sending supervisors.
Yeah.
Right?
People would actually go and do a little checklist.
And we have supervisors too, and they go to stores every 2 weeks, for example. Basically, they go without knowing what they're going to see. And they go for 2 hours. So the store has been running for 2 weeks, around 140 hours. And they see 2-hour sample of that store, and they determine the score of that store. Whatever happens in the remaining 138 hours, we don't know. But by having data before they go, we can prioritize which stores to go to, which crew to meet, which pizza to train. So it's a completely different paradigm of supervising. So we think it's more than just AI helping you to cook better. Maybe changes the paradigm of how we supervise stores in franchise business. And because that's the essence of our business, it could change the future of franchise business. Anyone can make a great pizza instantly.
피자 만드는 거 가르쳐주신다고 해서 들어왔어요.
네, 피자 만드는 법 먼저 한번 보여드릴게요. 여기서 토마토 소스 50g을 올리라고 나와 있는데 저 영역에 맞춰서 이렇게 골고루 발라야지 저 AI 센서가 확인이 됩니다.
이거를 지금 어디선가 다 보고 있는 건가요?
저 카메라를 통해서 이렇게 확인이 되어서 지금 안 발린 부분이 저렇게 확인을 할 수 있습니다. 이렇게 하고 카메라가 인식이 되면 다음 단계로 넘어갑니다.
제조가 완료되었습니다.
저 오븐에 넣을 건데요.
네.
넣어주시면은 이제 피자가 자동으로 잘라지고 구워지는 과정까지 다 로봇이 해줍니다.
마지막 하나만 더 넣겠습니다. 끝인가요?
이제 끝입니다.
죄송스럽지만 저희 첫 피자 평가 한 번만 부탁드립니다.
한번 먹어보겠습니다. 똑같나요? 괜찮나요?
저 피자 취업이 가능해요?
맛있어요. 잘 만드셨어요. 한번 드셔보세요.
신뢰가 되는 말씀인지 모르겠지만 꽤 괜찮은 것 같아요.
바로 이제
네, 여기 그냥 들어가서 그냥 여기 있습니다.
Another interesting aspect is that you started in 2016, and in 3 years, you expanded overseas. Why such a quick jump to a market outside of Korea?
Unfortunately, I was born in a different time where we have a collapsing population and a very low GDP growth rate and much, much higher competition. So if we stay in Korea, there's a very, very slim chance I could be like them. And as a startup founder and as someone who got venture capital funding, I have to prove that we could become billion-dollar company. So Korea had a very slim chance alone.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't big enough.
True, and it was very difficult. And we thought, going overseas, it's more like a survival strategy. And it was an obvious strategy that I also have to satisfy our investors. And we had to grow. We had to keep growing. So we chose the fastest growing country in the world with the highest population in the world, India. Yeah.
India?
Yeah. Actually, our first market was in India.
Wasn't in Singapore, it was in India?
No, 2019 was India.
India.
So I just literally went with my backpack and some pizza ingredients in my backpack.
Not with the oven.
No, we just went and we had nothing there. And we just started cooking pizza there and tried to replicate our product quality in India with the local ingredients. And that's how we started. And I just stayed there for a month with my team, and we started finding the first location.
And it was the Silicon Valley of India.
Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
And now you've just opened your 50th, 50.
Yes.
That's a steep, quick climb.
Yeah, and we had like 2 years of COVID in between.
That's
so
true, that's true.
Actually, this 50 stores happened within 24 months.
But you're competing against global competitors, 선배, the Pizza Huts and the Domino's of the world. How do you make yourself noticeable within such a it's pretty much a saturated market, wasn't it?
I think the concept of faster, more affordable, more personal pizza it's very universal because this inaccessibility of pizza is very universal. So we saw that's a problem, and we're solving it everywhere. So everywhere we go, nobody doesn't like a cheaper pizza. Nobody doesn't like a faster pizza. So it's a very universal, unique selling point that we have. So everywhere we go, we are well accepted, I think. And on top of that, the Korean craze is definitely helping us a lot. So our strategy is basically we get our attention through being the Korean pizza, but we make the customer stay through our universal USPs.
Oh.
So that's why I think we don't just end at like first or second store, but we just keep going.
You talk about the fact that your growth is very market-oriented. But the market also, it's not just about, whether there's room for GoPizza in you, but it's about taste as well. I mean, don't different markets have different requirements? Even McDonald's, they adjust to different countries with different menus and styles. How do you do it with your pizza?
So we do heavy localizing with topping ingredients, especially. And with the Korean wave, we have actually more Korean side menus in overseas countries than Korea market. Because, it would be kind of weird to say we're a Korean pizza brand in Korea.
Yeah.
But it's completely natural in outside of Korea. And then the customers would expect something more Korean. So we have like tteokbokki, we even have bulgogi 덮밥, which we cook in a pizza oven. So we localize and we also utilize the Korean element more. But beauty is that pizza is all about the dough, sauce, and the cheese.
Yeah.
These don't change. These are like the blank canvas, but it's the paper, right? So as long as we have dough, sauce, and cheese right, as long as we have them consistent, everything we put on top, we can easily play around. So I think that's why, pizza is actually the most consumed food in the world even more than hamburgers.
Really?
If you go to India, nobody can have hamburgers because it's beef.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, and McDonald's is selling chicken burgers mostly. And it's basically not their area of expertise, right? But pizza, anywhere you go, you can make a vegan pizza easily. You can make, halal pizza. You can make chicken pizza. So I think pizza is a food that's more transformable. It's like a chameleon. Right?
And especially when you talk about this, the personal pizza, it can be, if you personalize to everyone's needs and tastes.
Yeah. So, in Korea, if you go to a pizza place with your boss, you probably have to follow whatever he wants, like bulgogi pizza.
Yep.
But in GoPizza, I'll have a pepperoni.
Yeah, you can have the bulgogi, but I'll have something else.
Yeah.
I can have pineapple on mine if I wanted to, yeah?
And I think that's just a universal appeal. Nobody wouldn't like it more personal.
So Singapore is one of your biggest markets. How many outlets do you have in Singapore?
We have around 30 now, and we're the #3 pizza player in Singapore.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're #3 behind Domino's Pizza and you?
Yeah,
That is mind-blowing, really.
So Singapore is a small country, and I think we created opportunity in Singapore market because of our small kitchens. Singapore has very high rental, very high labor cost. So to build like proper pizza restaurants would require a lot of capital investment and a lot of rental, a lot of labor. But we started going into food courts and what's called hawker centers, like outside food courts.
Yes, which is very common in Singapore.
And I don't think there was like any history in Singapore where there's a pizza place in a hawker center.
I don't remember anything of that sort.
I've never seen one either.
Yeah.
And we started going into hawker center where we had relatively cheaper rental and obviously faster build-up time because it's a very small store. So by increasing store counts and store sales through these food court and hawker center models, we were able to also open flagships. Like we have a flagship in Suntec City. We have a store even in Changi Airport.
That Changi Airport is a coup, isn't it? I mean, that must have been really difficult to get into.
It's very symbolic. We were the first Korean F&B company to be in Changi Airport. I think we were the first pizza place to be in Changi Airport.
Changi Airport never had a pizza place?
No. The reason is that people are on the go, and it would be difficult for people to sit down and have a proper pizza experience, right?
Order a pizza that
Exactly.
took forever.
And the place that we got from Changi is basically like a coffee shop kiosk. And there's so many coffee shop kiosks, and Changi thought, why not, let's give it a spin, have pizza. It was a very fierce competition to bid for it, but we got it. And we are happy to also announce that we're having a store in Incheon Airport in July as the first pizza restaurant again.
So you're going to become an airline staple.
Yeah, so that's one of my
Airport staple, yeah.
personal admirations where like we want to be in all the airports in the world. And it's basically the pizza on the go, GoPizza.
Yeah, fits your concept of what you aspire to be. So, I mean, I can see it being very accepted along Asia because we sort of have similar consumption patterns. What is your next big market in Asia? And then are you going for that big market, the father of all pizza markets, the US?
Yes, that's the dream. We are focusing on Thailand this year. We think, Vietnam or Philippines, these markets are very interesting too. But we already cover 7 markets, so we kind of want to focus on these markets first. US is the dream. It's the premier leagues of pizza. It's the largest pizza market in the world. So we are thinking of doing some pilots in US probably in the next 12 months. I think we might have a great shot because who would value the most accessible pizza in the world? People who eat pizza every day, and that's US citizens. So we think if we can keep the same price point, same quality, and the same labor or the kitchen module in US, it actually solves a lot of problems because US also facing a lot of labor crisis, high labor costs, and inflation for the customers. So we have high hopes. We just didn't go because we thought we weren't ready for the Premier League. But from this year, I feel we are getting ready. And I think we are pretty sure that we will be ready next year. So it's just a matter of time.
So you're getting ready to go.
Yes.
Go.
Yeah.
GoPizza is getting ready to go to the US.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's going to be the
watch
game changer.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Well, I think consumers all over Asia will be looking at more GoPizza signs everywhere, and hopefully we'll see that in the motherland of pizzas as well.
I hope so too.
So thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for me. I'll be back next week with another globalist who's putting Korea on the map. Sunji out.